Video number 36. Number 36.1. I had heard about this phenomenon but hadn't experienced it, until my dad was hospitalized for a broken hip and several days later his body began to decline. I was away on vacation for a couple of days. Upon my return I went to see him at the hospital. He was having a conversation and I just started to cry. His nurse asked what was wrong and I blurted out, "My dad is going to die." She reassured me that he was going to be okay, but I just knew. He appeared healthy, was doing well surgically post-op, and no obvious signs of poor health, but he was failing. His conversation was with his dad, who had passed almost 30 years prior, and they were talking about deceased family and friends. Less than 4 days later, he passed peacefully from an undiagnosed return of metastasized non-Hodgkin's lymphoma that shut down his body. Number 36.2. Indeed. True. I witnessed this with my grandma, my dad, my mother-in-law, and my own husband. Even though I couldn't see what they were all seeing, I felt the energies each and every time it happened. We are more than we can imagine in this dimension. Be the best human you can be right now. Life is beautiful in all its manifestations. Number 36.3. My mom started calling out, each loved one she named had died already. One person at a time, as they came to her. She is correct. Number 36.4. My mom experienced this 2 days before passing away. She woke up after sleeping for about 3 days straight. She asked me and my sister to stand her up. We stood her up. She then tilted her head up towards the ceiling and she said, "Listen, do you hear them? They are calling me home." She died 24 hours later. Very profound experience. Number 36.5. My mom would talk about seeing my dad in her room, sitting on her bed, and walking down the hallway. Then she died. Number 36.6. Here's another way to know the difference between hallucination and visions. A person hallucinating is in the hallucination and not aware of reality. A vision is viewing something, like on a screen, and the person is aware of the reality of what's happening around them. They also have conversations like normal, each taking time to speak in response. Number 36.7. My daughter had a high school friend whose mother was terminal. She was in the living room by herself and was overheard talking to someone. Her husband came in the room and asked her who she was talking to. She responded, "I was talking to my dad. He's coming to get me." Her dad was deceased. She passed the following day. Number 36.8. These are not imaginary or theories. My father never knew my niece committed suicide. We never told him, and when he was dying he said her name and he said she was hanging by a rope and she needed help. Then he said, "You let her die." No one went to help her. She died 10 years before my dad. How did he know she died hanging herself all alone in basement? No one told him. He knew about my life and he also said for me to clean my car windows. I was in school from 7 to 2, then work 3 to 10, then finally to go see him every night. I had no time to clean my car, take care of me, eat, anything. How did he know my car windows were dirty and that I was going to have an accident? I was overworked, going through everything. Even the judge just closed my case. He felt bad for me. But how TF my dad knew these things if they are all imaginary or lies? He even told me if I want him to come for me when my time comes, all I have to do is just ask. Please subscribe, like and share with anyone that needs these comforting stories. Search for my related book on Amazon using the title of 4,000 Deathbed Vision Stories. Sincerely, Ken.